The room is quiet, but the case refuses to rest. Every report says the murder is solved. Every form is filled out. Every box is checked. But something small, almost invisible, refuses to fall into place. And once Charlie Hudson notices it, there's no way to ignore it. The apartment is dim, lit only by a single lamp on the table. Its soft glow barely reaches the corners of the room. Outside, rain taps against the window in a steady rhythm, slow and patient, like time itself, waiting for the truth to catch up. The sound fills the silence without breaking it. Photos from the case are spread across the table in careful rows. Charlie sits in front of them, his eyes tired but alert. One image holds his attention longer than the others. The victim's face stares back, frozen in a moment that now feels wrong. Something about it doesn't match the story everyone accepted. Charlie leans back and rubs his eyes. But sleep isn't even a thought. The case should be finished. On paper, it is. In his gut, it never was. Sarah stands near the counter, holding a mug that has gone cold. She hasn't taken a single sip. Her eyes move from the photos to Charlie and back again, reading not just the evidence, but the space between it. The silence between them isn't uncomfortable. It's heavy. This is the kind of silence that comes after a long day of asking. The same questions and hearing answers that don't satisfy. Headlights from a passing car flash briefly across the wall and disappear. The moment passes, but the tension remains. Charlie slides one photo forward. His voice is calm, worn down by repetition. He walks through the official version of events, time of death. Entry point. One clear suspect. Clean. Simple. Too simple. Pauses. Then points to the detail that never sat right with him. The door wasn't forced. That means the victim knew who came inside. Or trusted them enough not to be afraid. Sarah steps closer to the table. She studies the photo again, slower this time. The room where the body was found looks normal at first glance. Orderly. Quiet. But then she notices it. A chair slightly out of place, a lamp turned off, not broken, no signs of panic, no struggle. She says it softly, almost to herself. This doesn't look like a sudden attack. It looks controlled. Charlie looks up. In that moment, they both feel it. The shift. The case just changed. Charlie reaches for another photo. This one was taken earlier that night. The victim is smiling, unaware of what's coming. Charlie lowers his voice. He mentions a phone call made that evening, one that never made it into the final report. Sarah reacts instantly. That call was dismissed, marked as nothing. A mistake. She asks who the call was to. Charlie doesn't answer right away. He places the photo down and exhales. Outside, the rain grows heavier. Sarah finally sets the mug down untouched. If that call matters, she says, then the timeline is wrong. If the timeline is wrong, the killer is still free. Charlie nods. His focus sharpens. This isn't about challenging paperwork. It's about listening to what the evidence has been. Trying to say all along, more photos are spread across the table, now arranged by time. Each image represents a moment the case depends on. Charlie talks through the sequence again, slower, testing every detail, according to the report. The victim arrived home at 9:10 p.m. A neighbor heard nothing, and the attack happened shortly after. Clean, quiet. Charlie taps the photo of the front door. No damage, no signs of forced entry. Sarah pulls a chair closer and sits. She matches the photos to her notes. One detail stands out. The victim's phone was found on the table, not in his pocket. That means he wasn't surprised. He had time to answer a call, time to let someone in. That lines up with the missing. Call 1 made 20 minutes before the time of death. A call that should have mattered far more. They move on to the alibis. One by one, each suspect's story is reviewed. Every explanation sounded solid at first, but under pressure, small cracks appear. A delivery time that was never confirmed, claim of leaving town early, contradicted by a car seen nearby later that night. None of it is enough alone. Together it feels wrong. Charlie stands and begins. To Pace, he talks through motive now. Money, anger, fear, all the usual reasons. But none of them explain the calm inside that room. No panic, no broken glass, no rushed escape. Sarah says this wasn't emotional. It was planned, careful, controlled. The kind of act done by someone who believed they wouldn't be questioned. They stop talking and just look at the table. Photos, notes, names. Charlie finally says what's been forming in his mind. The killer didn't rush because they didn't need to. They knew the victim's habits, knew the apartment, knew when no one would interrupt. Sarah adds that this kind of knowledge doesn't come from distance. It comes from closeness. Charlie reaches for a photo they hadn't focused on before. The victim stands beside someone else taken weeks earlier. At the time, it felt harmless. Now it feels heavy. Sarah leans in. Her expression changes. She says it quietly. This person had access, motive, time, and no one ever looked at them. Closely, the pieces don't form a neat answer, but they form the right question. Charlie says they've been looking at the crime from the outside, but the truth is inside the room, hidden in plain sight. Once you see that, there's no going back. The room feels smaller now, as if the walls are closing in around the truth. Charlie rests his hands on the table. His voice softens. When a case reaches this point, he says the facts stop being numbers and start becoming people. Sarah understands. This is where the job gets heavy. She picks up the photo again, with the victim standing beside someone he trusted. She says the hardest cases are the ones where the danger feels familiar. Whatever you want to believe, threats come from strangers. It's easier that way. But most of the time, they don't. They come from someone already inside your life. Charlie admits his instincts pulled him here from the start. He ignored them because the evidence didn't support it yet. Trusting instinct can be dangerous, he says, but ignoring it completely can be worse. Sarah pushes back gently. Instinct isn't enough. They need proof. Getting this wrong would destroy lives. The rain outside softens. Charlie says the victim wasn't just a name on a file. He had plans. People who cared about him. Someone who believed he was safe. Sarah says that's why they have to be certain. Not just legally, morally. Charlie looks at the notes. Then it's Sarah. The person they're circling wasn't just connected to the victim. They were emotionally tied. That explains everything. Patience, control, the ability to hide intent. Sarah exhales. Once emotion enters the picture, the truth gets messy. People lie better when they think they're protecting something. Charlie nods. That's what scares him. The killer didn't act out of fear. They acted out of belief. Belief that they were right. The weight settles between them. Charlie's eyes stop on a small detail they've passed too many times. Right? He places a note beside. A photo, the phone call, the timestamp. The position of the body it lines up. Not how the report said it did. How it really happened. The call wasn't a warning. It wasn't a mistake. It was an invitation. The victim let the killer in because he trusted them. Sarah leans back, stunned by how perfectly it fits. Charlie adds one final piece. The killer stayed longer than necessary. They wanted the scene too. Tell a story, a simple one, a false one. Sarah says it plainly. The crime wasn't just planned, it was designed to mislead. The silence returns, but it's different now. This silence holds certainty. Charlie closes the file slowly. They know who did it. The challenge now is proving it without alerting them. Sarah stands, already thinking ahead. People who believe they got away with murder make mistakes. Charlie looks out the window. The rain has stopped. They'll move carefully. The killer is close. Closer than anyone realizes. The light clicks off. The room fades into darkness. The truth is no longer hidden, and the person who buried it is about to be exposed.